It dawned on me the other day that I have not shown off my Xenoblade collection on YouTube in a very long time. It's probably been over a year now, and the collection has grown a ton. It now spans these two shelves and a shelf on that side of the room. So I wanted to take this opportunity to go ahead and show it off now that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is out. I've been collecting all of these Xenoblade 3 pre-order bonuses over this past month. As of right now, I believe everything has actually arrived, except for a couple bonuses from South Korea. Now, pretty much everything in my collection is first party. I only have a couple things that are fan-made, and I'll point those out as we kind of do this overview. It's also worth mentioning that I have been posting on TikTok pretty much daily for the last 3 months. I've been showing off one piece of Xenoblade merchandise just about every single day. Now, you will see that there are holes in the collection, and those are for the Good Smile figures. I do have pre-orders on all the ones I'm missing. However, Melia's for Good Smile USA was delayed just recently from August to September. And then hopefully Pyra and Mithra's come out when they're supposed to for the third re-release in September. So that'll fill in some voids here. With all of that said, let's start going through the collection. Starting up at the very top, we have the Formula Model Kit for Xenoblade X. Now this kit was released exclusively in Japan. On the side of the box here, you can kind of see what it looks like. I have not gotten to build this kit yet. I'm hoping I can build it here in the next month or two. Beside that are two of the Definitive Edition collector sets, Japan and Europe. Moving on down to the next shelf, this is my Xenoblade X shelf. Most of the contents here are all from the North American release of the game in the North American Special Edition. However, you can see the Japanese complete soundtrack here. The next shelf will someday be my Pyra and Mithra shelf, where I will put my Good Smile figures. Starting over on this end, we have the cheapest of the Japanese complete soundtracks. Then we have the Sound Selection CD from the North American Special Edition. Behind that is one of the folders from the Japanese My Nintendo Xenoblade Chronicles 2 folder set. This little red thing in front of it is actually a paper wallet. I don't know a ton about this item. I imported it from Spain back in 2018 for like $5. But it's just this really simple little red wallet that has PNGs of Rex and Pyra on the inside of it. Next up, we have the Japanese exclusive Artworks book for Xenoblade 2. Beside that is obviously the Xenoblade 2 Pro Controller. And then this little piece of paper that features Pyra's sword is actually the Sound Selections card from the Japanese Sound Selection CD. This next shelf here has the Siren model kit on it. We can also see the Xenoblade 2 Japanese Sound Selection CD Steelbook here. Behind that is another one of those folders. I absolutely love these Trinity processor cores here. These were fan-made by TGS Props. They normally post on Instagram when they're going to restock these. I don't think they've done a restock yet this year, so hopefully more fans get a chance to get their hands on them. Next up, we can see the Cosmos Good Smile figure, and behind her is the Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition record that was released in the European collector's set. This next shelf down here is kind of a Xenoblade 1 shelf. We can see the Metallic Museum Minato. The red board behind it was an Amazon Japan pre-order bonus for Definitive Edition. It's just a really nice little display board that has some future connected artwork on the inside. Beside that is the Definitive Edition Steelbook that was released in the European collector's set. Obviously you can see the Shulk amiibo and the Minato smartphone ring. In the very front here we can see a simple Minato keychain that was a pre-order bonus in Europe. Obviously there's this Definitive Edition lanyard. Now I do not know a ton about this. I know it was released in Europe. I'm not sure if it was a pre-order bonus or just a general promotional item. In the very back we have a future connected microfiber cloth. That was a pre-order bonus for Definitive Edition if you ordered through Rakuten in Japan. Down here is my very packed Xenoblade 3 shelf. All of these are pre-order bonuses except for that spare copy of Xenoblade 3 in the back corner there. Starting over here we have the wooden postcard that was released in Hong Kong. Kind of beside and below that is the Mio mousepad that was released exclusively in South Korea. In the very back we have a pre-order poster from Europe. Beside that we have a nice little acrylic of the game's key art from Japan. This postcard set was released in Europe. In the very front here you can see a pin set from Rakuten in Japan. In the very back corner we have a blue display board this time. This was for Xenoblade 3, once again through Amazon Japan, and I think it complements the Definitive Edition one very nicely. In front of that is the Japanese Mio acrylic. Now South Korea also got a Mio acrylic and I'm waiting on that one to arrive. And lastly on this shelf is this little tiny uni acrylic stand and or keychain. It can be either or. On the very bottom shelf we can see the Cosmos figure box and then a bunch of little Monado keychains. These little stubby Monados are all different. They all have different Monado arts on the inside. They're part of like a blind box sort of line in Japan. Then we can see a stack of Xenoblade books that I really don't have enough room to properly display. Off to the side we can see more of the folders from that folder set. And then on the very end we have a European exclusive definitive edition pre-order poster. Onto the next set of shelves, starting at the very top, we have the absolutely beautiful European collector's edition for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I absolutely love this box with the dual Pyra Mithra on the front and back. Beside that is the Siren model kit box. Then on the shelf below that we have all of these Switch Xenoblade game cases. Now these are mixed between regions because I cannot find my US case for Definitive Edition for some odd reason. I do get a lot of questions on this center case though. This alternate case art was released exclusively in the Japanese Collector's Edition for Xenoblade 2. As you can see, it features Rex and Mithra on the front, and then the inside has this gorgeous depiction of Araya, and it actually has Bridget and Morag, and then Rock and Van Damme are clear in the background there. Moving on to the next shelf, we have a Xenoblade 2 shelf. In the very back, we have the North American and Japanese special edition boxes for Xenoblade 2. Then we have the European version of the Sound Selection CD. I always like how every single region got a completely different CD case. And I kind of skipped over the art book for Xenoblade 2, but that's obviously the North American hardcover version. Then we can see two Switch game steelbooks for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. This is the North American and the European versions. Now you can see there's actually a slight difference. The North American one is white, while the European one is silver. And there's some other differences too. However, that's the biggest difference. And I'm sure that's just a difference in manufacturers, but it was a pretty fun discovery. Then down here we have this GameStop Torn of the Golden Country promotional sign. Now all I really know about this is that it came from GameStop and that it would have hung up on the shelves. Now this Rex amiibo was custom made by Gonda Chris. She's a Nintendo brand ambassador now, and I'm not sure if she still makes custom amiibo. I don't think she does anymore. However, I commissioned her to do this back when Rex was first announced for the Smash DLC, because I thought it'd be fun to have a Pity Rex Mii Sword Fighter amiibo. And honestly, it still holds up today, since Pyra and Mithra are the ones in the game, and Rex is still just a Mii Sword Fighter. Below that, we can see all of the acrylic keychains for Definitive Edition from Japan. Then behind that, we have a promotional brochure from Japan for Xenoblade on the Wii. Next up are these European exclusive Club Nintendo collector coins. Now this is something that I wanted for a very long time. These coins are of Pandora's Tower, Xenoblade Chronicles, and The Last Story. And many of you know those games from the Operation Rainfall campaign for North America. However, these coins were released in Europe. Behind that, we have the Japanese complete soundtrack for Xenoblade on the Wii. And below all of that, we can see the Japanese My Nintendo exclusive Melia die-cut cloth. On the next shelf, we have two soft-cover Definitive Edition books in the background. Those are Europe and Japan. Then we have the special soundtrack from the original release of Xenoblade Chronicles. In front of that, we have the Definitive Edition My Nintendo sticker sheets. Then we have a sealed Shulk amiibo, and then we have the Japanese Definitive Edition CD Steelbook. Moving over to the very last shelf/area, we have a bunch more Xenoblade Chronicles 3 pre-order bonuses, and then promotional items. This gorgeous mat here in the front is a pre-order bonus from South Korea. It is called the Long Mouse Pad, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I cannot express how beautiful this is and how nice of quality this is. It's 31 inches long, and it's just this absolutely massive mouse pad. In the very back corner, we have the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 pre-order bonus notebook that was released through the European My Nintendo store. In front of that, we have a pre-order bonus sticker sheet that was released in Europe. This long scroll looking thing is actually the Mio Tapestry. This was released in Japan, and I have not opened it yet, but it features Mio's key art on it. Next up, we have promotional items. So we have the Nintendo Dream magazine, and this magazine came with this little booklet over here, and this features a bunch of character art from all three of the numbered Xenoblade games. Then we have this Famitsu Weekly magazine that actually has a ton of Xenoblade 3 coverage in it, and it features Mio on the front, has a nice little poster on the inside, and it's also an extremely thick magazine with a ton of content. I'm really surprised at just how much is in this weekly magazine. Lastly, here we have this promotional brochure from Japan. Now these were in little kiosks in stores promoting Xenoblade 3 leading up to its release. And with that, that is everything in my Xenoblade collection. I did not initially tend to talk about every item here, however it felt very appropriate as I was going through. Now I know I do not have every single thing that is out there in my collection, and that is fine. Honestly, I just really enjoy collecting what I can. I hope everyone has learned a little bit about an item that they did not even know existed. I feel like there's a lot of stuff like that for the Xenoblade series, especially when there's so many different regions that get so many different things. I'll try and make more videos here on this channel where I talk about Xenoblade products. I would really like to do a big video where I show off every single Xenoblade Chronicles 3 pre-order bonus. I'm still waiting on a couple products before I can make that video. I know I'm waiting on the Mio acrylic from South Korea and the fabric poster from South Korea, but I believe that everything else is here that I'm aware exists. Oh, and Mio's journal has already shipped in Japan for the My Nintendo store, so I've got one of those on the way as well. With all of that said, happy collecting!